Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, because as you can see before you on your screen right here, Bitcoin currently finds itself in the climax of a consolidation pattern, with this downtrend of resistance right here on the hourly chart being visible, and this uptrend of support showing itself right here. And as we can see, these two trend lines, the downtrend of resistance and the uptrend of support, are going to be converging in the next 6 hours or so after I record this video. And in fact, the breakout may have already happened by the time this video goes live, so if it has, go ahead and check your chart and see which direction it breaks out. So in today's video, I'm going to be laying out the bullish case for Bitcoin, why Bitcoin might break bullish here, and I'm going to be laying out why Bitcoin might break bearish here. And I'm going to throw it back to you guys and ask your opinion on which direction you think Bitcoin is going to break out. There is a decent chance that it's already broken out by the time this video goes live. I do apologize if that has happened, but it does take a little while for these videos to upload. Everything I say in this video should still be informative and still applicable to the market, even if we do see a breakout. Anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I do want to apologize for being gone the last couple of days. I've been working on a secret little project in the background that I may or may not tell you guys about in the long run, but I've been very, very busy, but we're going to be getting back to the daily upload. So now, actually, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin on Coinbase currently is trading just a little bit below $3,600, but it is trading above the support level at $3,575. This support level has been very important for Bitcoin over the last couple of months. As we can see right here, Bitcoin has held above it many times, gotten resistance on it multiple times. We got support right here, resistance right here, or excuse me, support, then resistance right here, resistance, support, support. We fell back below it recently and got back up above it. Needless to say, it is an important level of support. And that becomes very obvious, especially when we look back over here and we realize that for a time, Bitcoin did fall below it, but then very quickly we started moving to the upside and actually kind of inverse Bart Simpson up here. I love that Bart Simpson is now a technical term for a chart pattern on Bitcoin, partially because of the low volatility and low volume in crypto, but also because of the number of whales and the quickness that the market can move here in the cryptocurrency market. Kind of a fun term. If you guys aren't familiar with that term, I'll go ahead and explain it. That's just because this looks like the head of Bart Simpson, but turned upside down. Just look up a picture of Bart Simpson if you never watched The Simpsons. Anyway, we now find that Bitcoin is in a consolidation pattern, sitting just a little bit above this uptrend of support, this flat level of support here at 35.75. And whether or not Bitcoin holds that is what we're going to be discussing in today's video. Let's go ahead and do a very quick little crypto market recap, and we'll get back on into the TA. Bitcoin, like I said, across all exchanges is trading just a little bit over $3,600. Nice, healthy level for Bitcoin, especially compared to where it's been over the last little while. I like to see that Bitcoin is trading sideways here and not really on a long-term gradual downtrend. As you can see, you could say that Bitcoin is generally gradually trending down because of our two peaks right here. The second one was lower than the first, and of our bottoms right here, the second one was lower than the first. But this is definitely not as steep of a downwards trending market as we perhaps saw earlier on in the year, when the highs were always much, much lower than the ones before them. So I like to see that the bearish price action showing up here on the hourly chart is getting a little less powerful, and we're starting to turn the market from moving downwards to moving sideways, because after you start moving sideways, then you can start moving up, and that's what we expect to happen in the next year or so here on the Bitcoin chart. Anyway, Bitcoin is down by about 1% over the last 24 hours with a daily volume of around $5.2 billion. Nothing really to write home about today other than XRP is sitting up here in the number 2 position. You guys know over the last couple of months, XRP and Ethereum have been battling and duking it out for that number 2 and number 3 position. Currently, Ethereum is down 3% on the day, and XRP is down 1.7% on the day. Tell me in the comments section down below which cryptocurrency you think is going to manage to secure and hold the number 2 position when we go into the next bull run. I'd be interested to hear your take on that, because while I am a very big fan of Ethereum, XRP is a very good project also, and especially Ripple behind it. They are offering a very practical product, and there is a lot of reasons to believe that XRP might hold that number 2 position moving on into the next bull run. I'm not going to get into that argument today, especially about whether or not XRP is a cryptocurrency. Not going to touch that, but I am interested to hear your opinions in the comment section down below as to whether or not you think XRP is going to be able to hold number 2, because before Ethereum existed, XRP was the number 2 cryptocurrency, so actually XRP is just kind of retaking what was previously its. Anyway, if we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, we're going to see that we do see a couple of double-digit gainers. We see Power Ledger. Haven't heard a lot from Power Ledger lately, but it's interesting to see that they're up about 14%. Interesting project. I recommend you guys read into Power Ledger. Very interesting project. Not going to get into it in today's video, but it's definitely, I'm going to leave it at interesting. Anyway, Augur and Loopring are also up in the double-digit green today, but they are definitely the only ones. We do see quite a lot of red in the market and 3 double-digit losers as well in Wax, Eternity, and Bugraya coin. Bugraya coin is one of those cryptocurrencies that I see very commonly in the top or in the biggest losers or the biggest gainers list, which typically means that it's a very volatile coin, and typically it means that there's a lot of money to be made there. Now, you could either, you can long this, or you can short it if you can find an exchange that'll let you short it, and you might be able to make a lot of money there. But if you're looking for a cryptocurrency to make a lot of money with, definitely look for the ones with a lot of volatility and a lot of predictability based on how they've reacted to their own technicals on their chart and their fundamentals in the past. Anyway, let's go ahead and get back on into the TA in today's video and talk about which direction this market is likely to be breaking. Now, guys, I'm not going to be making a prediction, or at least I'm not going to be telling you my prediction about which direction Bitcoin is going to break out here. I do, in this video, actually want to throw it back to you guys and get your opinions in the comment section down below on which direction you think the market is going to break. But with that said, I do want to lay out the bullish case for Bitcoin, and I also want to lay out the bearish case for Bitcoin. Now, as you guys all know, I'm a permabull. That is a joke. Do not quote me on that. You all think I am. But as you all know, I'm a permabull. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the bullish scenario first. Oh my gosh, the bullish scenario. And we're going to see what happens here. Anyway, of course, we find that Bitcoin currently is in a consolidation pattern, and we see that consolidation pattern is going to be ending very, very soon. And as you guys know, normally consolidation patterns kind of squeeze in all this volatility that Bitcoin had into this little pattern right here. And eventually, when you break out, you typically see a very large movement in price action. And we see this happen a lot in Bitcoin. We can find an example of it right over here. We see this consolidation pattern that we talked about a little over a week ago. We saw a lot of price action right here, and we saw a big bullish breakout. But that doesn't necessarily mean the one that we're looking at right now is going to be bullish, but it is precedent to say that it's likely that Bitcoin's probably about to have some kind of major breakout here, maybe a 3, 4, 5% move, something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the bullish case, because I think there is definitely a bullish case. If we look at the bullish case, one thing that we have to understand is that Bitcoin is currently sitting above $3,575. And that is important, because what we saw recently is we saw Bitcoin come down here and breach $3,575, and this may be indicative that in the long term this level is not going to hold, in the same way that the early breach of $6,000 way back in time, way over here, we have to go to the land before time to find this. If we come back on the 4-hour chart, we'll see that at one point Bitcoin did break below $6,000 over here, and eventually we did end up going through and breaking $6,000 proper. The same thing may be happening on a smaller scale here, but I don't think that is what's going to happen in today's video. I think that the bullish case would definitely point to the fact that Bitcoin is holding above this level of support that has proven itself to be very, very important over the last couple of months, as I showed you in the earlier part of the video, right over here, there, and even more recently right over here. This has proven to be an important level. And the fact that we're above it right now does lend credence to the bullish case. If we look at the bullish case also on the 4-hourly, what we're going to see is that the MACD is currently bullish. Now, the MACD on the 4-hourly chart is going to be definitely applicable to what we're looking at right here, because this pattern shows up most clearly on the hourly chart and on the 4-hourly chart. As you can see, we're a little bullish on the hourly MACD, not very bullish. So those two MACD crossings would show us, and those two MACD alignments would show us that Bitcoin is looking bullish, at least on the hourly and the 4-hourly chart. And like I said, those are the two MACDs that you really want to be looking at for this consolidation pattern, because if we come out to the daily chart, yes, the MACD is bearish, but you also can't really see this consolidation pattern on the daily chart, so I wouldn't give the daily MACD as much credence over the market as I would the hourly and the 4-hourly. So keep that in mind. There's definitely a case for the bulls right now, but I also think that there's a case for the bears. Let me show you a couple of other things for the bulls, and I'll go ahead and get back on into the bearish case. If we look at the shorts chart, over the last couple of days, shorts have been gradually declining. If we look at the daily chart on the longs chart, what we're going to see is that shorts have been gradually rising. And of course, like I said, looking at shorter time frames, we see that even on the shorter time frames, both of these charts are looking rather good for Bitcoin. Now, we do see some shorts picking back up over the last couple of hours. You might say this is a case for the bears, because over the last 6 hours coming into the climax here, we see that the shorts are rising a little bit, something to keep in mind. But the fact of the matter is, in general, over the last couple of days, shorts have been declining and longs have been rising, which is definitely adding some of that bullish tension to Bitcoin. Anyway, Now let's go ahead and talk about the bearish scenario for Bitcoin, because there most certainly is one. There definitely is a bearish scenario. I think the bullish scenario there is rather convincing, but the bearish scenario definitely is as well. And the first thing I want to talk about with the bearish scenario goes back to something I mentioned a little while ago, and that is the fact that the market is in general trending downward. As you can see, we have a downtrend of resistance, not an uptrend of resistance, a downtrend of resistance, and we also have a downtrend of support right here. We're in a downwards trading channel. We're in a negative trading channel. We're moving to the downside in this trading channel, and that does indicate bearishness in the market. That does indicate that the bears in general over the longer term are the ones that are in control. And now the bears might not be in control for this consolidation pattern, but a lot of times what you see when you have the break of a consolidation pattern is you see whichever faction is the most powerful in the market over the last couple of weeks, or whatever the time frame is, the most powerful faction over the last important amount of time period building into that consolidation pattern. It's typically going to happen that when the consolidation pattern breaks, the faction that is the most powerful is the one that is going to see the breakout and is going to do the breaking. So what I mean by that is, since Bitcoin has been bearish over the last couple of weeks, what we would probably expect is that since Bitcoin is about to break a consolidation pattern, that the bears are more likely anyway to be the ones that are in control here, because the bears have in general been in control over the last couple of weeks. Now, if we saw that Bitcoin was trading upwards in an upward trading channel like this, and then went into a consolidation pattern right in here, and we saw this consolidation pattern right here, it'd be more likely that the bulls would take control. But for right now, the fact that Bitcoin has been trending to the downside over the last couple of weeks, even starting as far back as last year, which isn't really that far back, but the last month or so has seen bearish price action for Bitcoin, that does lend an argument, and that does lend credence to the bearish case here. There are a couple of other things that we want to talk about. One of them is, of course, what I showed you a second ago. That would be the small little spike in shorts. There are not very many shorts being added right here, so this is not a very big point in favor of the bears. This is basically a 2% move, and the longs are continuing to go up, so that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but that is something to keep an eye on, because if those shorts start rising rapidly, we could see Bitcoin fall below here as a lot of selling pressure is put on the market. Now, there are more things that we can talk about. I talked about earlier about how I would put more credence on the hourly and the 4-hourly MACD, but the daily MACD is still important. Just because I think the hourly and the 4-hourly are more important doesn't mean that the daily isn't important. The daily MACD is still very important, and the daily MACD is bearish, indicating that Bitcoin may be about to crash even farther. One thing we also see is that on the daily, the daily stochastic RSI is about to cross and continue going south. That's a bearish thing for Bitcoin. In general, guys, this is one of those cases where we're in a consolidation pattern, and it can really go either way. We could see a bullish breakout over the next couple of hours, and we could see a bearish breakout over the next couple of hours. Both scenarios are just about equally likely in my opinion, and that's why I'm not making a prediction here, because really this could go either way. We're so close to the end of this consolidation pattern that I could sit here and make a prediction, and I'd have about a 50% chance of being right, and I have a 50% chance of you all saying that I'm wrong. So, or actually, in fact, being wrong. And one thing, like I've said in many videos, that you have to keep in mind at the end of this consolidation pattern is that sometimes you'll have a whale come in here, buy a bunch of Bitcoin, force a breakout, sell a bunch of Bitcoin or short a bunch of Bitcoin, and force a breakout, and that completely throws technical analysis out of the window, which is why I talk about every time we have a consolidation pattern that you should be prepared for both scenarios. If you have a stop loss, put it down here below this uptrend of support. If you have a buy order, put it up here above this downtrending level of resistance, so that if Bitcoin breaks out, you catch it with a buy order right here and you can sell it up here. Or that if you're holding Bitcoin or shorting Bitcoin, you can either sell your Bitcoin here or start shorting your Bitcoin right here and ride those losses down here so that you can sell your Bitcoin and buy it back in later, or do it with someone else's Bitcoin, which is called shorting. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about trading these markets. Consolidation patterns are one of my favorite patterns in crypto markets, because if you know what you're doing and you do what I just said, if you want to watch the last minute over again, you can. That's a very important thing that I just talked about. Consolidation patterns are very, very powerful, and I really like them because you can make a lot of money with them, and it's really easy to protect yourself. It's very obvious where to put the stop losses. It's very obvious where to put the buy orders. It's not as obvious where to put the sell orders. I'd say if Bitcoin rallies here, it's probably not going to go much farther beyond $3,700. It may go up here to like 38 or so, but I wouldn't see Bitcoin going back to $4,000 just yet, for example. But like I said, consolidation patterns, there can be a lot of money made there if you know what you're doing, but be careful with consolidation patterns, because it's also possible to lose a lot of money, as there always is whenever there's a lot of money to be gained. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do want to learn more about how to do technical analysis, I am going to be excuse me, I'm not going to be. There is the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy linked in the description down below, guys. If you're interested in learning how to do Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical analysis, it's really a very fun thing to do. I do enjoy making these videos. It doesn't really ever feel like work making these videos because I love doing technical analysis. I love reading charts, and it's one of those things when you really know how to do something, when you're good at it and when you really understand what you're doing, it becomes a lot more enjoyable. So if you guys don't enjoy chart reading, it might just be that you're not very good at it. So if you want to learn how to do technical analysis and chart read on cryptocurrency markets, I do highly recommend CT2A. That'll be linked in the description down below. Anyway, guys, like I said, tell me in the comment section down below whether or not you think XRP or Ethereum are going to sit in the number 2 position moving on into the next bull run, and which direction do you think this breakout is going to go? Is it going to go bullish? Is it going to go bearish? Let me know in the comments down below. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video, which I hope is tomorrow. Peace!